SMR family, welcome back to episode 22. This week around, I got a new female artist for you guys. She goes by the name of Jade Inc. She is from Toronto. This song is called Dark Skin. Check it out. Shalisa Marie Radio.
I don't love just anyone. I am not just anyone. I rock heels, I rock Jordans, and I wear wigs and rock my natural. Can you believe he says I'm pretty for a dark skin? He was dark skin. I bought some Hennessy for these niggas. Wonder if they love their mother. I love their skin colors. I grew up on the west side. I relocated, I went downtown. I used to get so faded, I was so reckless. All that time I wasted, now I'm older, and it's so precious. Remember when my mama showed up at the club? I was on the edge, 13 in a club. They had shooters on the roof for the killers. When that nigga got shot, he never got up. Almost every club that we went to got shot up. Ay. They got dark skin girls, they always saying that you're pretty for a dark skin. Yeah, you're pretty for a dark skin. Dark skin girls, they always saying that you're pretty for a dark skin. Yeah, you're pretty for a dark skin. What the fuck does that mean? 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 The fuck does that mean? I first fell in love when I was 15. But what is love when you are 15? Big deals and baggy jeans, me Jackie and Christine, Jane and Chitaway, Jock Funk to Galloway. My daddy in NY in 97, same day that Biggie died. They said hurry up, I'm double parked. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Since you ain't been around, I've been listening to Biggie rhyme. Since you ain't been around, I've been forced to write my feelings down. But damn, I had a superhero, she cooked and cleaned. 2 jobs with 2 kids. I am not just anyone. Why would I wanna be like everyone? But still I ain't no different or better than you. I cry, I scream, shit, I bleed too. He said my standards are way too high. I ain't gonna be with anyone. I'd rather hold my pillow tight tonight. Nigga, I sleep just fine. Dark skin girls, they always saying that you're pretty for a dark skin. Yeah, you're pretty for a dark skin. Dark skin girls, they always saying that you're pretty for a dark skin. Yeah, you're pretty for a dark skin. What the fuck does that mean? 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 The fuck does that mean? Dark skin girl, dark skin girl, dark skin girl.
On January 6, 2019, I came up with the idea to gather a collection of people to discuss interracial relationships between Black and white couples. To make sure I covered every end of the spectrum regarding this topic, I invited 3 white women, 2 white men, 3 Black women, and 3 Black men. We all decided to sit down at the table and discuss why Black women have such a huge problem with Black men dating white women. Here it goes. Shalisa Marie Radio. Welcome back to Shalisa Marie Radio. This is episode 22. Today we are here to speak about interracial relationships. This topic came about because I found a comment on Instagram about interracial relationships, specifically about Black men dating white women and why Black women have such a huge problem with Black men and white women being together. So a girl by the name of Faith said on Instagram that Black men need to pay attention because she thinks that Black men are weak, insecure, and unsure because they choose to be with white women. She also refers to white women as oppressors and thinks that they are not allowed to bring the Black man home because they think that the family won't accept the Black men. So do you guys think that this is an ignorant comment, or do you guys think that this is true?
And going forward, this is a safe space, so your opinion matters. Whatever is on your mind, feel free to express it, and there should be no judgment from anyone else.
Cool. Can I say something?
Yeah.
What about vice versa?
A Black
White
woman.
guys and Black girls.
Mm-hmm. There's not,
Black guys get mad about that.
And why is that though? Because whenever society sees a Black woman with a white guy, there's not really any like comments
I feel
on
like
that.
there's more of an acceptance. I don't know. I feel like a lot of guys are like, oh, you're with Masta. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're dating a white man. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of Black men are also against it.
But they don't voice it as
But they
much.
don't voice it as much. I've never heard like of people complaining about that.
Maybe you just see it more from the other way around, and that's why it feels like it's being voiced more. You just see more Black men with white women.
That's true because my dad is white and my mom is Black, and people are like, "That's so weird." Like I've never seen that before. I'm like, really? Because I think the other way around is like not common at all. I feel that way just because like that's how I grew up. I grew up in a Black household with a Black mom instead of the other way around.
Because just think in all our minds right now, when you think of an interracial couple, you automatically think that guy is Black.
Yeah.
You
All of us have already
automatically
thought
think
about that right now.
True.
I don't agree with the comment though. By the way, like the comment though, it was very it was said in a very ignorant way.
It's a little aggressive.
But I do understand kind of both sides. Like I do understand why somebody might feel a certain way because like Black women have been like targeted for so long and made to feel very ugly and made to feel like we don't need you, we'd rather be with like the opposite,
Someone else.
So I do understand why some people might have negativity in their heart when they've heard it for so long, but I don't think it's because the man is weak. And to me, I just think that like, cool, you want to date, everyone like should be able to date whoever they want to date, but don't bash your own race. And that's it. Like,
That's
you don't
it.
bash your own race. Like, you want to date a white woman or you want to date a white guy, like, don't go to them and be like, oh, I'm dating you because I hate Black women. They're gross, they're nappy, like, don't do that. Just say, like, I just like you, and that's it.
There's a difference between preference and prejudice. Like, when you become prejudiced towards one race of people, that becomes a problem. But, like, everybody has their own preference of people that they would like to date. But when you start speaking negatively against your own kind or one race of people, then that becomes a problem.
I agree. I think that was her preference. The way that she projected it is just that was ignorant.
That was a personal
but
problem.
that was her preference, and we can't judge that or say that she's wrong. It's just the way that she said it.
Do you think a race can be a preference, though?
100%. I only like Black girls. I'll say
I
that right
wait,
now.
so
I mainly
wait.
date white guys.
So for the white guys
I'll
though,
say like
for the white, so
put
for
that
the
out
white
there.
guys, like, do you only date Black girls?
for me, it's just a preference thing.
So,
Like I don't
like,
have a
both
prejudice
ways.
against any other women. Like you go out there, you're someone else's type of beautiful. You're just not my type of beautiful. That's it. So if I don't like a girl, I don't say nah, she's ugly, nah, she's this. I just say she's not my type of beautiful because one man's trash is another man's treasure. You know what I mean? So I don't bash them or whatever. I just say she's not my type of beautiful. Move on.
This might just call her trash, though.
Huh?
I'm joking.
Yeah,
Let's just call her trash though.
it's just an analogy. Like you know what I mean?
And then,
Yeah.
so for the Black men in the room, Do you guys have a reason why you guys speak to white women and decide to like gain interest in them, or is it just like you like what you like and that's it?
I just feel like, you know, especially like from where we're from, like we're from Toronto, it's so multicultural and stuff like that. So
It's
like
diverse, yeah.
it's always like there's so much beautiful women, like you can't really judge. You don't know who you're gonna come across, you don't know who you're gonna attract, kind of thing. So I mean,
Do you only date white women?
no, I find all women beautiful. Like
If the vibe your past history.
oh, I have dated a white woman before,
Okay,
but
they're all
I'm just
mixed
saying,
up, like,
yeah.
kinds.
I have no real preference. Like I feel like, you know, I'm open to anything if I'm attracted to you, right? But one thing I will say is I do want my kids to look like me, so I do want a black queen. But yeah, I mean, like all women like are attractive, so I wouldn't say it's a preference thing or one or the other, or I prefer her because she does this or kind of thing. It's just like whatever you like, whatever attracts you, and you take
And white women, is there a reason why you're attracted to black men, or do you just like what you like?
It's not specific. Like, I have dated white guys, I've dated black guys, like I've dated Asian guys. Like, it's not because they're black because I like them. Like, I like you if I like you. Every ethnicity has beautiful people. Like, that's what it comes down to. So, like, why limit yourself to a type? That's what I think.
But from your parents' perspective, this is a general question for everyone. Do they disagree or agree with your preference?
My parents don't care.
My dad disagrees.
With dating a white guy?
Yeah, and I don't know specifically what his preference is because in our family we had about 3 different white people, men, women. So we didn't have really good relationships with them just from experience. So I don't know if that's the reason, or he just isn't interested, or he just wants me to be with a black man. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It all depends on the person.
My parents can, like, truly just don't care at all. Like, when my current boyfriend came into our household, like, I don't even think, like, I know dads are weird with, like, their daughters and stuff, and I don't think my dad even flinched. I don't know if that's because, like, I have mixed cousins in my family and things like that, so it's not, like, at all a taboo topic in my household. So my parents didn't even, like, flinch at all when I brought Nate home.
I think for my family, it's a little bit different. It goes along with what you said. You want to kind of you want your kids to look like you. With my parents, I think they specifically kind of want me to be with a Greek man just because we're Greek and that's all we've ever had. Everyone has always been with a Greek man up until my generation, me and my sister. So it's just kind of a learning curve for them, and I think that's where they are unsure. I think everybody wants to stick, maybe not everybody, but you would like your family to stick with their culture. Maybe some parents prefer to pass that on to their kids and see their kids doing what they did when they were with their husband or wife. So that's kind of where my parents are coming from. But
I also think, this is just an interesting topic to Toronto specifically, because name another place where you have this many ethnicities in one place.
So much
Dubai.
So much
no,
culture.
Toronto's the most multicultural city in the
I feel
world.
like Dubai is Toronto on steroids.
Because like you go to another place and you see a mixed kid, it's like, whoa, like pause, like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people will be like, yeah, like I didn't really fit in with the white people, I didn't really fit in with the black people. It was like in the middle. Whereas here it's so common that for us it's just natural. So
They'll feel out of place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like just for us specifically, if we're having this conversation in another country or whatever,
It would be.
I feel like our opinions would be a lot different. But like, my parents they don't care. Like, so.
Were your parents born in Canada?
Yeah, but we came from Europe. So like my grandparents, like they're like, all right. Like they just see you as a person, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think my parents care, but it is more of a cultural thing. So just being from like Africa, and a lot of my brothers are married to like different girls, and like over a couple Canadian girls, and I think that like one of my sisters-in-law, she doesn't put any effort towards like having a relationship with my parents. So it could be like a language barrier because we speak French at home and all that kind of stuff. But like, I think that's more of the disconnect to my parents, wishing like you had someone that would like probably actually put in an effort with them and not just segregate like everything to their family. But I don't think they care at all.
I think my dad, well, I know my dad doesn't care. Because clearly, dated a black girl. But, and multiple others after. So, I don't think he really cares either. He's obviously, any dad would be like the protected kind of, who's this guy? Oh, you know, all that stuff. And my mom, I don't think she cares either. She's very open to like whoever. Like, I have aunties that are not really my aunties that are white. I have aunties that are not really my aunties that are black. I have aunties that are not really my aunties that are like Spanish or whatever. You know, I have this whole other side of my family that's not really my family, and my mom's like open to every single type of culture and ethnicity and whatnot. I just think my mom just hopes that they're not stupid and they don't play with your heart and they don't mess around, they don't play games, you know, they know what they want, because I think that's what bothers her the most. So it's not really your race or anything like that, it's just specifically like, don't be dumb with my daughter.
Someone said black men love women who they know will be submissive to their needs. Black men are strong and they know that, but they prefer to have a partner who is weak, so they will feel and believe that they are strong, when realistically it's a weak mentality and behavior they have. All in all, it's an ego thing.
Is it that deep?
I feel like...
Is it that deep?
Kind of.
Like,
There's a level.
Is it?
There's levels.
I don't think that they want somebody that's, I don't like submissive, but I feel like they don't like to be...
They don't
like to be
strong as them.
I don't feel like they like to be like conflicted, and it takes, I feel like it's not just black men, I just think it's any guy. Like it takes a strong guy to like be able to take criticism, be able to be spoken to in a certain way.
I mean, I think it's like a maturity thing. Like, honestly, if you have a girl, like, you know, she should be able to challenge you in some way. She should be able to tell you, you know, like, you're bullpen, like, you're not doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should. I mean, like, you know,
Urban Dictionary.
you're not holding up your end of the bargain. So, like, you should be able to take that from your girl if that's really your girl, you know what I'm saying? Versus, I mean, a guy who wants a girl who's just going to sit there and listen to whatever he has to say. I mean, that's not really going to help you out in the long run.
So, for the white women, do you guys see yourself as being submissive to a black man's needs? Because that's like the comment all the time. Like, you guys are weak, that's why they want you. You guys will tolerate whatever they bring to the table when a black woman wouldn't put up with it. Is that true? Because we're not in your shoes, right? So what happens in like that type of relationship?
In my opinion, I read this before I came here today, and I obviously thought about it. I don't think it's true whatsoever. I don't think that I'm weak or submissive at all. And I actually brought it to my man to ask him, like, are you with me for this reason? Do you agree with this? Just to see what his opinion is. And basically he said, hell no.
This guy's probably on the hot seat. She's on TV. Shit.
No, he would tell me the truth regardless. He's not going to lie to me. So I asked him, and I wanted to see it for the sake of tonight. And he disagrees. I disagree. I don't think that's true. He knows that I'm strong. He knows that he can find a black girl or a white girl that's weak and submissive, and he chose to find me, who's white and not either of those things. So.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry.
I feel like in anything you could find weak or submissive girl in any culture. You can find anything you want in any culture. It's all the same. Beautiful, ugly people. You can find whatever you're looking for. You can find it in that culture specifically. But for guys, it just comes down to maturity. Like, all guys are, I say this to everyone, all guys are immature. I'm immature, you're immature, but it's how less immature are you. So, facts, I'm immature. Like, I'm a little immature, not a lot. There's a difference, you know?
I think it also comes down to, like, overgeneralization. Like,
yeah.
Common is, like, saying that every single white girl is submissive. Yeah. Like, Shalisa's known me since I was, like, 4 years old, and I'm pretty sure I'm, like, the least submissive person.
Yeah.
I can feel it. Like,
she is.
Like, I don't want to say in the world, because that's a little an overgeneralization. But you know what I mean? Like, I think that comment, and I think everybody comes from, like, any type of anger or, like, judgment is coming from some type of, like, place of pain. So, like, we can't judge that person for making that assumption, but I do think that it's an overgeneralization, because you can't. I do know a lot of, like, submissive white girls, like, it is what it is.
But I feel like also like that comment has been going on for years. Like we're in a new stage, you know? Like
No, but I feel like that's why, like, I don't think the comment is right. I think it's very harsh. But, like, I think we'd be lying to ourselves if we didn't think that there's a lot of people that feel that way. Like, that comment is around because it kind of is a stereotype. And the reason it is a stereotype is because there is a wave of people that truly feel that way.
Like, yeah, or like a large majority of, like, white people or European white, whatever you want to say, they like to have fun, you know, they don't care, they're willing, you're young, whatever, you know, and that's the majority of white girls. Like, I'm not saying trying to bash or anything like that, but like realistically more black people or like more like other races, I can't name them all, but you know, they'd more be like standoffish, like, well, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, like, you know, they're just more like, you need to prove more to me, and I feel like white girls are more like, well, like,
whatever happens,
one life,
happens.
Yeah. You just gotta do what you gotta do, and like, I feel like eventually people learn that through different times throughout their life, like girls, you know, but at a young age, I just felt like seeing that on like Twitter or like Instagram, all these memes and all these like stereotypes or whatever, like it's just majority as how I seen it growing up. That's how it was.
Kiana's, like, since you're from an interracial relationship, like, growing up, were you ever confused? Because, like, a lot of black women's worry is, like, if they marry a white guy, they have to, like, their kid is just going to be, like, confused and, like, lost in the world when it comes to socializing and, like, learning who they are. So, like, did you ever struggle with that? Because I know some mixed kids who did, but, like, I don't know if you have.
Well, like, me, I'm, like, loud. I don't really care. So whatever somebody says to me doesn't really bother me, but I do notice that like some black girls won't even consider me like black. And white girls, you know, they love me, so it's okay. And I love them too. I love everybody. But I feel like just like from experience from my dad's side of the family, like everybody loved me and they're all white on that side. So I never felt like I wasn't loved enough or appreciated or whatever in that sense of belonging. But like definitely on the black side, it's just like people are like, well, you're light skinned, well, your hair's not really black and you have mixed hair and your skin, you're still white. Like, you know, there's like a lot of that goes on, but I don't think it personally bothered me just because like I have like a strong shell on the outside and I just notice it, but I don't think it's really done anything to me, but it's definitely there. And I do see it with like other kids or whatever. I don't even know how to explain it. It doesn't bother me.
Okay, so speaking for the black men out there, because there are black guys out there who say like, oh, like, I don't want to date a black girl. Like, I don't want a black girl. Do you think it comes from the women in their life? Because some black women can be loud and ghetto and embarrassing in public, and maybe they say that because of the women that they grew up with, and they're like, I don't want my women to be loud and, you know, like walking up in stores cussing people with no bra top seat.
That's so not fair though. Like, Italian people are loud as, like, there's so many people in this world that are extremely loud, but that is a stereotype for black people. So I don't think that's a good enough excuse. I think it's really rooted in self-hate. Sorry, I'm not the man, but I have to say, like, that's deeply rooted in self-hate when you feel like you have to bash your own race. I don't believe that it's like a preference thing.
I work with a woman that is more ghetto and ratchet that I've ever met in my entire life, and she's white. But she grew up in Scarborough. Like, she grew up around a whole bunch of different types of people. But I've never... I don't know, I don't believe that, like, that like, you can single out one race of people. Again, you can find that type of person in every single race. Like, there's that type of person in every single race.
Follows that.
Exactly. Your environment really influences you in a different way as well, too, right?
So then why do we pull the race card if everyone in this world, no matter the race, can be, like, obnoxious, rude? Like, why is it always the race?
Blame it on something else other than yourself.
Yeah, you just pull it right out of your pocket, you're good to go.
There's stereotypes for every race. There's stereotypes that we put out there for every race.
They do say the black woman is the most disrespected woman.
That's true.
In the world. And there's a reason why. Like, everything negative is usually thrown towards that way. And anything positive is usually drawn to the whiter side of things. So.
But it could be due to like media, history, like that thing we don't really think about, like just even like the Japanese culture and Chinese culture, like the reason why they whiten their skin is because the whiter you are, they think the richer you are, because people who work in the fields are tan, right? So just like things like that in general, right? So like, it could be due to history.
Black people, especially women, have gone through a lot of trauma when it comes to just simply being black. When it comes to jobs, when it comes to relationships, just a whole wide range of being black. So I think that's where it comes from, why people are like, oh, you're black and you're a black female, you're probably loud, you're ratchet, you're ghetto. I don't want you.
Capable.
So that's where it comes. That's where it comes to the
want to
media
test
sense.
it to
Like,
see if you are capable.
Exactly.
And I feel like that goes for everybody. Just everyone has a certain extent. Every race has a certain extent of how far they will push you or reject you.
Yeah.
And that is media based, like you said, just because if you really think about TV, like I remember before, like I don't really watch a lot of BET, like don't take my black card away, but I do remember when I was younger, people were like, why is there a channel called like Black Entertainment TV? And I think it took a long time for me to realize that like it's because you don't see people that look like us all over the TV. You're starting to see a lot more of that now, so you probably feel like you've always seen it.
But if you did before, what were they?
Pardon me?
If you did before,
I'm saying, and if you
but
did
if you did before, what were they on TV? Loud.
That's what I'm saying. They were a specific, like you see a specific kind of black on TV. Like black women are always casted as a very specific person, and the black men, you know, usually there's a thug, like there's this and that. So when you see
always gotta die first,
you start feeling like,
oh my gosh, Jurassic Park.
Always gotta die first.
Stop.
That's why it sucks. But like someone like Cosby, like you know, canceled. I know he's canceled, but someone like Cosby, that was probably one of the first shows that had a positive look of what a black family is supposed like looks like, because usually like you
don't
own
see
a
that,
gun, you're ghetto, you're loud, you're wilding, like I'll stop.
Also, people are just set in their ways. So you know, like some people are just so stubborn and just, well, this is how it was and this is how it's still gonna be until the day I die. So
Close-minded.
Yeah, very
No
close-minded,
yep.
and don't want to see it any other way because they're right in their mind.
The whole like R. Kelly trial.
Okay, that's a
I'll leave
6 episodes.
But I think it's shown that like people are like, well, we always listen to him, so we're not gonna move on. Yeah. When people are stuck in their mind, like it's hard for them to see outside of like themselves.
Because it's what they know.
So we've had some more black men walk into the building. So I'm gonna ask you guys this question. Black men love women who they know will be submissive to their needs. Black men are strong and they know that, but they prefer to have a partner who is weak so they can feel/believe that they are strong, when realistically it's a weak mentality and behavior that they have, and it's an ego thing. So do you guys date white women because they are submissive? Do you think about that? Is it that deep to you? To me, I don't think that like love should have like a color to it, but I get the race thing, but like I just don't think that life is that serious to me. Like I wouldn't like stay up all night like questioning like why Michael B. Jordan doesn't date white or doesn't date black women. Like I wouldn't care.
First of all, for me, like I'm biracial, so black and white, but so yeah, I mean, in that sense, like for me personally, my mom is, you know, with a black man, obviously, so I consider her sort of, you know, my dad's Jamaican, so I consider her, you know, in a cultured type of thing. She knows what she's, you know, she sort of raised me different than I guess the stereotypical white woman. So me personally, if I'm attracted to a white girl or a black girl, I don't really look for, you know, like you said, weakness. Like I just look for a personality that matches mine, really. You know, and I can talk to them.
And if they
if
cute.
they cute or whatever, exactly. But
how they made you feel?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Because you guys have friends
I know he's
you guys have
Sorry, what's
you
that?
guys have friends that look to date a girl that is a little more submissive?
I mean, yeah, I think because, you know,
Like if you're being...
yeah, I mean, naturally a man wants to be, you know, powerful, right? So if someone's submissive to them, it's easier for them to be like, okay, you know, I'm in control. I want this, so I don't have to worry about myself, you know, being controlled by the woman. So I think that's why a lot of the times that that is sort of the case when it comes to that, but that's me personally.
Honestly, though, for me as a guy, like I look for a girl who's like stronger, or just not better than me. Personally, just like better, like in life, just like there's something that you see that you like need to like work on, and that girl's probably in that area of life is better than you at.
Okay.
So I look for a girl that's like just.
I think he said not better. Okay,
no, I look for a girl that's better.
Oh, I thought he said not better.
That's why I was like, what?
Oh no, like overall. Like,
Yeah, I was like,
no.
Well, his point is like it's gonna help him grow, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are complimenting each other. You guys are both growing in it, and not one person is just relying on the other. It's both you relying on each other type of thing.
It's
helping each
weird
other.
that that's the stereotype that black men want to date a girl that's more submissive, but white men want to date a black girl that's strong. Like it's weird that it's like the opposite, but that's usually like what is said. Weird.
Catch this one back here because he's not talking.
Nah, you guys didn't ask me no questions.
You say something.
My sister just had like her friend tell her that like she's very opinionated. So I mean, because she's very opinionated, that means she's masculine, and she felt like very offended because he was just saying like that's why he doesn't date black women. So I feel like there are guys out there who really want like a submissive woman.
Yeah.
Dirty guys like who don't care, who are just in it for themselves. You know, like.
They just want a
man. Yeah,
they just want a yes man.
Yeah, a yes man.
They just want a yes man.
I think that comes down to maturity as well, though, like we were talking about before. If you're mature, you know that your woman can stand up to you and say what she wants to say and have her own opinion. If you're not mature, you want your woman to be submissive. But it comes to, like, I understand what you're saying is you don't want her to be, like, overpowering you and, like, slapping you up all the time, but I don't know.
I don't think it should be a dominant or a suppressive.
Yeah, it's just like 50-50.
I don't know if it's a maturity thing because you guys have to remember this. I might not want to be like, I'm not a submissive person, like that's not my thing, but there are women that want to be a submissive woman to a guy, and they want the guy that is powerful. So I think it has to do with how you were raised, what you've seen growing up, and maybe you just want someone to be your knight in charming armor, or you want to be the very independent person. So you just have to know what you want and make sure that you're with someone that's not gonna manipulate you into being something that they want for you. But I would never be, that's just not my rule. Yeah. But some girls are into it, so you have to remember.
Everyone's different.
But there's something that I've heard before that it's like, some black men don't want to be with a black woman because they feel like they belittle them instead of uplift them, especially when they're going through hard times. Because we like to say stuff and like jab,
like treat them like a child, but like more times, sometimes they act like a child. But you get it from your parents. You know, like when you're younger and you do something,
it starts from the home.
You know what I mean? Like that's all you know. So when somebody's talking to you like how you talk to your parents, you just know how to react to it by how they reacted to it. Like, listen, da-da-da-da-da-da, and this is how it's gonna be, and if you don't like it, I'm leaving, you leaving, that's that.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes people can't handle that girl or guy, by whatever way it goes, you know? So some people just have to feel if they can't hear.
That's true.
True. So we have one more question because we have to wrap it up.
So someone said, do they really respect my culture and who I am and what I stand for when walking around in public with them? So do you guys try to at least get to know really who your partner is, where they come from, the roots, or would you say you know what I need to learn more about my partner's heritage?
I think learning about a culture that's not yours is good. It expands your knowledge. It makes you more cultured.
Woke.
Woke. Exactly. Like, I don't think I'd ever like date like a Middle Eastern, Mediterranean person. Like, I haven't come across that feeling yet, but I know friends and my neighbor, you know, and I like to get interested in their conversations, in their language, and how they celebrate certain things. Like, some Indian people, like Sri Lankan people, celebrate like their period. You know what I mean? So like, all these different things that they celebrate that my culture doesn't celebrate, and like how you say a phrase, like a saying in their language, or versus how we say in our language, just a saying like, I don't know how to Like, I think everyone should want to do that, should want to learn more about other cultures and just experience that. If you don't want to learn that, like, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Black men, do you guys take the time to learn your partner's roots if you are dating someone of another race?
If it was a culture, like...
Yeah, like, so if you're dating a white girl, do you take the, like, first of all, do you think about her race? Do you choose her for a reason, or do you just date her because you find her attractive, you like things about her? Do your parents care if you talk to a white girl and bring one home?
No, they wouldn't really care. Like, I guess from young, they probably expected I would have ended up with a white girl or something like that. But, like, on me, honestly, like, you know, I like black girls, too. But if I had a white girl, I'm not going to know off the bat, like, what type of white she is. I don't know much types of white. She would have to explain it to me and break it down. But, like, when I first look at her, I'm first going to be attracted to, physically. And then I'm going to obviously start talking to her and then see what she's really like. And yeah, probably eventually down the line, if she's open to telling me more about where she comes from and how she is, like, I'd be open to listen.
But you don't think that's like the main importance of the relationship?
No, that's not really important to me, like where they really came from.
For me personally, excuse me, I'm Jamaican, and my boyfriend is East African, East Somalian. So we come from very different backgrounds, but both of our races grew up together. So he knows a little bit about Jamaican people. I know a little bit about Somalian people. So it really brings the relationship further and closer once you know that person's background. Yeah,
Aren't you guys the same race? You guys are just different,
I guess.
You guys are both black.
Well, for me personally, I speak English and broken English. He speaks Somalian.
Yeah, so culturally different.
Culturally different, yeah. There you go.
Same race.
And the beliefs are
as well different.
I don't know, for me, I feel like I'm open to dating, like, anyone. But, like, there is a big piece of me that would love to end up with a black man. And I think the reason why is because, like, there are some things that are just very hard to understand, and a lot of people from different cultures and ethnicities just wouldn't get in different races. And, like, so I feel like if you were a different race and I ended up with you, like, you'd have to be, like, super woke. Because there are days where I'm gonna feel a certain way because of what's going on, and you might not understand it. You might just feel like, oh, you're making it up, or it's in your head, like the way somebody looked at you and this and that. So for me, like, that part, like, that's the part of me that would, like, want to end up with a black man, because you might just understand it without me having to say it. But yeah, but I am open to anyone as long as you're a good person. But, like, please wake up, like, please be a little bit woke, like, please care about the world.
It's just like sometimes you just want, like, black love. You know how people say that? Yeah. Like, that's that black love that I want, or that Lauren London and Nipsey type of love. You know what I mean? But, like, that's, like, for every culture. Every culture in some part of them might want, like, I just want that same person, because exactly, like, you'll know each other's, like, cues or triggers or things just automatic, because like you guys are somewhat raised the same way. Yeah. And when it's different, it's harder to just pick up on those things unless you were brought up in that environment.
I think the piece of me also is that you see black families, like, in such a negative way, like, all over the media. So I think, like, in my mind, I'm like, if I could be, like, a successful wife and have a successful husband, and, like, we're black and we have black children, like, I could kind of be a part of, like, breaking that negativity, that negative stereotype that you see all over. But that being said, like, a lot of these guys are acting up, so I'm open to anyone as long as you're a good person. Be a good person, all right.
I feel like, coming from, like, my perspective as a white girl dating a mixed guy, is that I needed to wake up, essentially. I obviously, like, went through high school at ND and everything, and, like, but I had a level of ignorance. And, like, I think when you're in a relationship and, like, I'm walking through the mall holding my man's hand and whatever else, like, eyes at me, eyes at him, like, whatever the scenario is, like, I've had to really, like, take a step back and not only acknowledge my ignorance, but acknowledge my privilege as well.
I like that.
I like that.
Yes, girl.
And, like, I like that. And I didn't realize, like, I obviously never racist or anything prior to dating him, but you don't actually realize your privilege. You don't actually realize your ignorance until it's, like, the person that you love and the person that you're
you see it
closest to in the world that's being affected by it. Then you're like, shit. Like, and so, yeah, basically, I woke up.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. You just have to recognize it, and that's what people
acknowledgement.
You can't get defensive. Like you need to recognize your privilege. Like white privilege is a thing. So please just.
It's not a negative thing. It's just a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
I have a part of it too. Don't worry. I get away with a lot of things that I shouldn't.
What you doing?
hey, now.
And that's something like my boyfriend's dad is Jamaican and his mom's Canadian, and we've had this conversation over the past couple of days. Because I was like, oh my god, I'm having this conversation. Like, what do I say? And he was like, he straight up, like as a mixed man, was like, I like the opportunities of being half white, but I like to look black. And I was like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he likes to play both sides of the game. Like, so it's an advantage.
Yeah. It's an advantage. Sorry, I'm just agreeing. Like it's a privilege to be biracial. It is. You get the best of like both worlds.
Obviously, you know, there's some cons because there's cons and everything.
Yeah,
but yeah, like I get
there's definitely cons in both sides, but it's like Hannah Montana. It gets to live two lives, but like when it's good, not when it's bad. You know.
Obviously.
Not when you get caught.
Stop. If you guys were to have kids that are interracial, what would you teach them?
Both sides. To love yourself, no matter what.
No matter what.
Mm-hmm. And if you need to be a bully, be a bully. Like,
No!
Not like a bully.
If you need to
other,
stand up to the bully, stand up to the bully.
Yeah, okay, not really be a bully, but like, just be blunt. You know what I mean? Like, don't really care.
Say what's on your mind.
The other people have to say. Like, don't let that disturb you or bother you in any type of way. Scratch that, no bully. Just kidding, guys.
Words shouldn't hurt you. It's how you take those words. And
they shouldn't, but we're human.
Yeah, exactly. We're human.
And biracial is not only black and white. It's all types of races. Spanish,
Asian and
Arab,
white.
like, you know what I mean?
Asian and black.
Yeah, there's races that are trying to be together that's worse than black and white. Mm-hmm. Worse, way worse.
Because religion comes into play.
Yes, exactly.
I'll say that because one of my friends, like he's black and he only dated like brown girls. I'm like, fam, like you have to stop. He's like, why? I was like, because you have to convert or it's done.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And literally one of his girls said it to him. Like they had a conversation. I felt bad because I had to pick him up. He literally was like, yo, like I meant they were talking. It's like, yo, you might want to have a conversation about this before you know, like you guys move forward in life, because next thing you know, 2-3 years down the road, she's gonna be like, oh, like, are you gonna convert?
Yeah,
you'll probably be like, hell nah. And they're like, all right, I'm done. Then you wasted 2-3 years because you could have answered that question in the first like couple months,
That's
right?
so important. That's why you have to get to know the person you're dating.
Nah, I didn't mean
you don't want to end up like that.
I just meant like I don't have to know her roots or her background.
But
like,
I don't know, the roots are important. Like for me, like I'm always like, so I am open to dating to a lot of people, but like it does stop at a religion. It does kind of like, it's more in the Christian boat for me, because I know that like I'm not raising my kids Muslim, and there's nothing wrong with Islam. I think it's a very beautiful religion, but I want to raise my kids Christian. So there's no point of me dating a Muslim guy and then getting to that point and being like, well, I'm not converting. There's just no point for me.
I totally agree. I like Afghan guys. And
no, they're cute.
They are.
I'm done with you. I'll show you a spot.
Scarborough, I'll show you.
After we go.
No. It's like a food place. Haka. Real nice guys.
Haka
green
food.
Eyes,
I know, they're actually beautiful.
Everything. I got you.
And one guy asked me to convert like to Islam, and I was like, no, probably not. You know, like I would never wear a hijab. Like I would never. You could only see my eyes. Like no, that's just like not me. I like to dress how I want to dress and express myself through.
They gotta you have to ask if that's his requirement, because like you could be Muslim and not wear a hijab and not wear.
I know, but
like
his mom does and stuff. So I think like that
or
was
at least if you have that culture or that religion type of aspect for your children, you know, like like I'm not gonna do that, but if we end up having kids, then they
can choose.
are supposed to, well, not supposed to, but can learn if they
Both sides.
choose, like, or when they get to a certain age and they realize that I have a choice, it's like they can do whatever they want.
But
they
religion
should
and
be
your faith can really
touched.
make or break a relationship.
Yeah, that's why they say don't talk about religion, politics, and one more thing on first dates because they'll ruin the whole day.
Yeah. No, but then
Well, then you will know.
Just get it over with.
Get it over with.
Get it over with.
Get it over
with. Get it over with. It's a tricky situation.
And like when you marry someone, you don't just marry them, you marry their family too.
Yeah.
So if they don't agree with what you like or what you prefer, then exactly.
Can we all just take in that like we're just having this conversation because 50 years ago it was illegal to
Couldn't be in my
someone of a
basement.
different place. So like the
Yeah.
fact that we can even just like sit here and have the conversation, whether we have opposing opinions or similar opinions, is still like a privilege in itself. Because like 50 years ago we wouldn't even be having this conversation, or I
In
wouldn't
certain
be.
places you don't do this, and that's the one thing. Toronto's so waste on so many levels, but it's amazing on the level of like us being multicultural and us hanging out together. Like we're not just like, I think even like in New York, there's a lot of people from different races, but they actually don't actually hang out together. The Dominicans stay by themselves. Like everybody stays in their own thing, so it's sick.
I have something else to say.
Yes.
Alright. Honestly, I feel like all these like relationship norms and all these things that people are talking about, like black guys not liking black girls, I feel like a lot of that stuff comes from like social media and all the stuff that people are seeing on the internet nowadays. Because like back in the day when we were younger, like no one really, like stuff like that still existed, but no one was really talking about it as much. So I see all these young kids that grew up with like Twitter and all this stuff, seeing all this stuff, and
That's
just,
what-
you know, they're just talking about what they see, and that's all they really know, that's all
Yeah.
they're seeing all the time, so it just comes out more. And yeah.
Do you think people didn't talk about it because black people didn't have the option to date outside of black? And now that we're living in a time where we're more together, more black men are dating outside of black? Does that make sense?
Honestly, I feel like when it wasn't allowed to happen, I feel like that made people do it more. Like I feel like
No, because you get
doing
killed.
Yeah,
No, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, though. Like, when you're
did it
allowed to do
anyway.
something,
Yeah,
yeah.
they do it
Bird
behind
box.
closed doors. Like I don't feel like it ever didn't happen, regardless of if it was allowed or not. Because people are still gonna do what they want.
I think it always happened, but not to the rate of right now.
Oh, yeah,
like
for
right
sure.
now, it's like on a whole other level because we are more open to hanging out with people from different races and having
Yeah,
conversations.
it's like a normal thing. People want to like create their kids, have like light-skinned babies.
Yeah,
with
people
green
literally
eyes
do
and
that.
all
And that's
that
a
was always
self-hate
weird
thing
to
to
me.
me.
That is a self-hate
That's
thing.
a real like.
Just let
if I
God
end up
create-
with you, like I end up with you, but I'm not coming to you to be like, oh my kids still look like this
But there
specifically.
are
Like,
people that have that point of view, which really is messed up.
yeah, there's a lot of people with that point of view.
They want their kids to feel what they don't. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't feel comfortable being black, you don't feel comfortable being white, you want to give your kids
Let's
the
mix it
privilege.
up.
Let's mix it up. Let's make you feel better because I don't feel good by myself, as myself. So.
Yeah.
I think that's where.
I feel like back to what you were talking about, like this is history, you know, like it was wrong from the get-go, like quotations. It was wrong for a black guy to be with a white girl or for the white guy to be with a black girl, you know. So like that's still instilled in our brains and our parents' brains, grandparents' brains, and so on. That it's just seen as wrong, but then it's now being changed to as like you just don't like black girls because da 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 da. But like low key, it's in your brain because of history and because it was seen as wrong. But times are changing and it's been changed, and eventually like it will be okay. And it is sort of okay now for everyone to be biracial. It's just some people are just set in their ways, and a lot of people are migrating over and don't see that where they're from and come here and then they see that and they're like, what?
Yeah.
No, that can't happen for my son. No way. My daughter, no way. I don't trust that.
Then
And
go
then
back
they
to
come
your
here
country.
and then they see all the news and the stereotypes that are going around and they're like, well, we can't trust these people because they do this, or we can't believe these people because they always say this.
It's true.
So
It's just the media, and you have to know what to tap into and what not to. But to wrap it up,
can I say?
Yes, Mom.
Yes,
Preach,
mama.
please.
So I just want to say that I am happy to see this forum, right? Because when I was growing up, I'm from Jamaica, born and bred, as they would say. And I came to Canada when I was 16. I didn't see racism until I came to Canada. I did not know what racism looks like until I came to Canada and I saw the color purple.
Oh.
That's when I started to hate white people.
Yeah.
Right? Not because they did something to me personally, but because of what I saw. And then going into the workforce and experiencing racism, that's when I saw the difference. But it goes back to history when black people were treated, they were slaves. They were treated like they were nothing. They were considered nothing. And when you see back then a black man dating a white person, you would say, why would they want to do that? Because I personally has never dated a white guy. I've never dated a white guy because I never thought that they would understand my struggle. Just going back to the history. Like, you would have to explain everything to them that they wouldn't understand. They wouldn't know how to feel your pain. And black women, like, we're strong people. We have to be. Because a lot of our men, black men, have let us down. So black women just rised up because they feel that they have to take charge, they have to take control, they have to look after the kids, they have to do everything by themselves. So they become strong women because of the what the men, black men, put them through. So when we're angry, as you say, when we're angry, it's not because we're angry, it's because it's like a shelter. Right? It's like a shelter. So I am glad to see you guys, the new generation, branching out and doing your thing and dating who you love and who you want to be with, regardless of their color, creed. You know, it's up to you. If you think that you can accept their culture or where they're from or their food, and you know, so it's up to you guys to break the cycle, which I'm glad you guys are doing. And kudos to you guys for whoever is dating. I don't care who it is, you know, whether you're black, white, indifference, I don't care, as long as you know they're doing something with their life. They're not living off you or waiting for you to come home with a paycheck to spend it. You know, as long as they're being good,
proactive,
and doing something with their life and making you happy. If they're not making you happy, say goodbye. That's it.
I feel like this is a clapping moment.
Mom. Okay, so to wrap it up, I love Jesus, so I have to bring out a verse out of Genesis chapter 1, verse 27.
Early days.
Yes, the beginning of everything. He said, so God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. You are all beautiful in God's eyes, so we're all one. We all come from the same exact cloth. So thank you guys all for coming out to Shalisa Marie Radio. This is episode 22, and we out! Shalisa Marie Radio.